May the 4th be with you. With Star Wars Day just around the corner, I thought it'd be fun to build something inspired by a galaxy far, far away. So I came up with the Galactic Lamp. It's a very cool nightlight. It'd be great for a grandchild or child to put in their room. It is super cool. It's got LEDs inside it that run through several different color schemes. And if you stay tuned, I'm going to show you how you can make one too. Let's go. Here's the part list for the lamp. You don't need a super heavy 12 volt power supply. That's just the graphic that was thrown in there. But you will need a hole for the barrel jack, push button, the capacitor, a resistor, a voltage regulator, a hookup, a perf board or breadboard. I use that to test it. And obviously you need the Arduino Nano. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and the 1/4 inch plywood to cut the enclosure out of, and spray paints, but that's decoration. That's more up to you and your artistic style. But to get the lamp to function the way mine does in the video, you will need these parts. And here quickly is a basic diagram. You have your power supply coming in. Now, I do lots of outdoor props, so the LEDs I had on hand are 12 volts. So I'm having to inject the power directly to the LEDs because the Arduino doesn't put out 12 volts. So you can see here I split the line. The capacitor is right here. I like putting it right on the plug because it kind of just evens out the voltage to everything. And then once it splits off, I have a reducer here that goes down to the voltage for the Nano. And then on the data line to the LEDs, I have a resistor. And that's just to make sure we don't damage the LED, the Nano. And then obviously the button is connected here. I'm going to put the Arduino IDE, the code that I used to create the lamp, on my website, jimmakesstuff.com, and I will also have an image for you to be able to put into Lightburn or whatever software you're using to run your laser so that you can cut out the enclosure. Alright, so here we are. This is footage of me soldering the Arduino and the LEDs. I pre-tin everything because it just makes things go a lot faster and a lot easier. And another thing you need to keep in mind is that the LEDs, there's little arrows on them. You need to make sure that the arrows are always going in the same direction. You can see the arrow right here in this footage. And if those arrows aren't going in the right direction, your project is not going to work right. So my advice is keep your wire color scheme going. Don't use the same colors because then that is just going to be confusing. I'm also very big on testing everything as I go. I tested the voltage coming out of the plug and then what I restricted it to. I made sure it was 12 volts going to the LEDs because I don't want problems later on when I'm assembling everything. I make sure everything works right on the bench before I move forward. Alright, so let's cut out the enclosure. And here we have some footage of my Creality Falcon 2 laser, cutting it out. This has obviously been sped up. It's not nearly that fast. And I have, if you're wondering what's underneath my laser, I actually have floor tiles that cover that table so that if the laser goes through and it goes through the metal plate I have underneath by some fluke, that it won't set the table on fire. Alright, so here we are at assembly. The first part is sand everything. If you're going to get into building stuff and 3D printing or cutting things out of lasers, you better really start to like sanding because it seems like that's the thing you do the most. So, and there I am test fitting all of the parts on the table, and I want you to take note of the square with the bar going through it. It kind of makes a no sign. That is going to go at the very top of the enclosure, the very top, in between the very top bar, and that's, you're going to drape the LEDs over that. The wire that goes in between the two strips of LEDs, you hang that wire across that bar, and that will support your LEDs so that they're hanging vertically through the center of the lamp. And the other thing you have to think about too as well, you can see me sanding here, is you're going to need a diffuser material. I used a really thick laminate that I got off of Amazon, and I will put everything that I bought off of Amazon, I will have associate links in my description, which, you know, full disclosure, I get a small kickback, or whatever they call it, referral fee or whatever, from if you purchase anything from there. So it helps the channel out, it helps me out, so I can keep making videos. All right, so it's time to prime everything up. I used a gray primer. I'm actually doing another Star Wars project, so I had some of this gray laying around, and I said, that's like the perfect color for what we're doing. And I applied the gray primer. Normally, I assemble things and then paint them. Because of having to attach the laminate, you can't paint that, and masking it would have been a nightmare. So I just went ahead and painted everything first. I added metallic finish to the covers. I don't know why more people don't use covers on their 3D printed projects to hide the places where the tabs insert and everything else. Nobody wants to see that stuff. All right, and so here you see me building the diffuser. Depending on how bright you set your LEDs to and how powerful your LEDs are will determine how many sheets of this you need. I used roughly 6 sheets. And how I did it was I left a square in the bottom with a hole cut out of it. And I made a tube where I wrapped the laminate around and around and around until the LEDs, I couldn't see the hot spots anymore. And that's how you create that diffused look. Because if you just shove LEDs in there and like one little piece of laminate, it's not going to block the hot spots of the LEDs. They're going to show through, and it's not going to be as pretty. So doing the laminate was extremely labor intensive. Take your time with it, because basically the entire effect relies on those hot spots not being visible. So depending on how thick the material is and how opaque it is will determine how many sheets of it you need, and it's really just going to come down on your material choice in that case. Okay, so here I am assembling the entire lamp, and it's really important that top piece is what's going to support the LEDs. That the bridge wires between the two strips is what's going to hang over that, so that your wires are going up and down. And then what I did was I pulled the 3M adhesive that's on the back of the LEDs after they draped over that, and I stuck them together so that they would make a nice, so that they would hang nice and straight inside the tube of the laminate. And here are the sides completed, just so you get a good look at them. And here's the insides. I hot glued everything into place because I figured, why not? And here are all the different colors that I came up with. I'm going to have the code on my website, so if you want to download it, it will come with all of these, but this code is very easily changed in the Arduino IDE, so you can really make it do anything you want. Hey, I hope you had fun building your Galactic Lamp, or at least watching me build mine. If you have any ideas for improvements or things we could add to it, I'm all ears. Please leave a comment down below. If you make one, take a picture of it. I'd love to see it. Put it down in the comments. And remember, put down those screens, pick up a pencil, and let imagination be your guide. See you next time.